Radio by following us on all our social media platforms on Facebook at Power365FM, Instagram at Power365_FM. Power365 Radio, your source for news and insight. This is Power365 Radio. Get ready to experience dynamic energy and professionalism. At Power365 Radio, we pride ourselves on being your go-to source for authentic news and insight. Be it breaking news, thought-provoking discussions, we are your #1 online radio station in Southwest Nigeria. We are dedicated to delivering top-notch content that keeps you informed, entertained, and engaged. Stay connected on Power365 Radio by following us on all our social media platforms on Facebook at Power365FM, Instagram at Power365_FM. Power365 Radio, your source for news and insight.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen out there. You're welcome to yet another interesting edition of Newspaper Review, come to you live from Power365 Online Radio. My name is Olamide Adeniji, and these are first I'm going to bring you the major headlines, and then after the headlines I'll bring you one or two stories. This story is piquing my interest, which is on the front page of Daily Independent. It says, "You will be punished for corruption. CJN NJI admin warn new judges." Federal government commences collection of $300 landing levy from helicopters. And this is saying, Labour rejects banned electricity tariff reduction to 206.80 kilowatt per hour. And this is saying Labour insists on reversal to 66 naira per kilowatt. Stakeholders engagement. Federal government denies plan to establish foreign military bases in Nigeria. Virtual assets. SEC boss goes tough on illegal trading. And this is coming from the governor of Oyo State. It says PDP will reclaim Ondo. Makinde Adeleke boast. Faulty aircraft forces Shetima to forgo US Africa summit. Edo Speaker suspends 3 lawmakers over alleged impeachment plot. And back to Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. Article distorting facts for cheap political gains. That's coming from the presidency. Now there are so many stories here, which by God's grace we're going to take a cursory look at. But before we go on, let me quickly take a break, and then when I return, I'll bring you more news. Stay tuned.
On all our social media platforms on Facebook at Power365FM, Instagram at Power365_FM. Power365 Radio, your source for news and insight. This is Power365 Radio. Get ready to experience dynamic energy and professionalism. At Power365 Radio, we pride ourselves on being your go-to source for authentic news and insight. Be it breaking news, thought-provoking discussions, we are your #1 online radio station in Southwest Nigeria. We are dedicated to delivering top-notch content that keeps you informed, entertained, and engaged. Stay connected on Power365 Radio by following us on all our social media platforms on Facebook at Power365FM, Instagram at Power365_FM. Power365 Radio, your source for news and insight.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen out there, you're welcome to Power365 online radio newspaper review. Don't forget you can join us on all our social media handles. On Instagram, we're live on Instagram. We're also live on Facebook, and you can also check us out on Twitter. And you could check us out also on YouTube. We're live on YouTube as we speak. Thank you for staying tuned. Power 365 Online Radio is your #1 Southwest radio here in the city of Ibadan and across Nigeria. Okay, so my first story, which I will be bringing to you, is the Band A electricity tariff reduction, which Labour has rejected. The Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress (TUC) of Nigeria on Monday rejected the federal government's revised tariff order approving downward review of end-user tariff for Band A customers from 225 kWh to 206.8 kWh. The Labour Centers called for a reversal to 66 naira per kilowatt. Recall that on April 3, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NEC) approved an increase in electricity tariffs for customers under the Band A category to 225 naira per kilowatt hour from 66 naira. Okay, pick a copy of the Daily Independent to read more on this interesting story. Alright, let me quickly bring this next story to you. It's saying article distorting facts from cheap political gains. Presidency. Speaking on the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, the controversy trailing the award of contract for the construction of the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway is yet to abate, as the presidency on Monday tackled former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, accusing him of distorting facts to score cheap political gains. In a statement, the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga, said the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate in the 2023 election is fast developing a reputation for distorting and manipulating facts for its self-serving objective of discrediting the current administration. You may read more of that story. It's on the front page of the Daily Independent. Then this next story is saying, despite the outcry that trailed the planned imposition of $300 landing fee on helicopter operators in the country, Daily Independent can report that the government may have commenced the collection of the charges. This is as Captain Roland Iyayi, the Chief Executive Officer of Top Brass Aviation Services, has said that the federal government has set the stage for the eventual demise of the domestic airlines with this act. Alright, so let me bring this next one, which is coming from the CJN. That's the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Olukayode Ariwola, and the Administrator of the National Judicial Institute (NJI), Justice Salisu Abdullahi, retired, have warned the newly appointed judicial officers to shun corrupt acts or be punished. The CJN and the NJI administrator gave the warning in their separate addresses on Monday at the induction course for newly appointed judges of the Superior Court of Record held at the NJI Abuja. Read more of that story. It's on the front page of the Daily Independent. Alright, let me leave the front page of the Daily Independent and delve into other pages of the Daily Independent. This is saying this is an emotional one on page 2 of the Daily Independent, which says Nnamdi Kanu's wife thanks Uba for facilitating visit to her husband. Wife of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mrs. Uchechi Oko Kanu, has thanked the senator representing Anambra South Senatorial Zone, Senator Ifeanyi Uba, for facilitating a visit to her husband, Nnamdi Kanu. Mrs. Kanu had on April 16 visited her husband, Nnamdi Kanu, at the Directorate of State Services, where he has been detained since 2021 after he was brought to Nigeria from Kenya. Newsmen gathered that Mrs. Kanu had severally been denied access to her husband until last month when she approached Senator Uba, who swiftly facilitated a visit. Read more of that story. It's on page 2 of the Daily Independent. Alright, this one is from Katsina State. It says Katsina unveils new master plan for urban development. The Katsina State government has expressed its readiness to embark on a new master plan to ensure proper urban planning development across the state. The plan will begin with the major city of Katsina and gradually be implemented across the 34 local government areas of the state. Okay, pick a copy of the Daily Independent to read more on that story. Alright, my next story is saying NDE trains. Okay, saying NDE trains 77 on sustainable agribusiness for rural economy in Delta. The National Directorate of Employment NDE last week at the Skills Acquisition Center in Onitsha Ugbo near Asaba, capital of Delta State, commenced the training of 70 participants in the area of sustainable agricultural development as part of its contribution to food security in the country. You may read more of that story. It's on page 2 of the Nigerian Daily Independent. Okay, let me quickly fly to the 29th page of the Daily Independent, where Governor Makinde and Adeleke have spoken on how they plan to reclaim Ondo State. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde and Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke have declared that the People's Democratic Party will reclaim Ondo State from the All Progressives Congress in November 2024 governorship election. Governor Makinde stated this on Monday when he hosted leaders of the party from the southwest geopolitical zone who converged on Ibadan to kickstart the process of reconciling PDP tendencies in Ondo State. Read more of that story. It's on page 29 of the Daily Independent. Alright, let me quickly fly to this next story, which says okay, US-France military bases will maximize our security issues. Akinyemi Kefi 1. Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, former Minister of Foreign Affairs and Major General Danjuma Ali Kefi, retired, former General Officer commanding 1 Division of Nigerian Army Kaduna, have warned that the proposed United States of America and France citing their military bases in Nigeria would maximize the country's security problems. Recall that some northern leaders have cautioned against allowing the US and French government to relocate their military bases from the Sahel to Nigeria. Read more of that story. It's a major issue which has been causing some forth and back by some northern leaders and the federal government. Okay, this is saying, I'm founder, not factional leader of NNPP. Oh, that's political. Dr. Boniface Anibonam, founder of the new Nigeria People's Party (NNPP), has appealed to the Nigerian media to stop referring to him as leader of a faction of the party. Anibonam, who disclosed this in a press statement on Monday in Lagos, said he regretted offering the sole candidacy of NNPP to Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso in the 2023 presidential election. Read more of that story. It's on page 27 of the Daily Independent. Okay, so let's grab one or two more stories. Okay, on education, UBEC flags off training of 1,480 rural teachers to tackle learning crisis. As part of efforts to tackle the growing learning crisis in the country, the Universal Basic Education Commission (UBEC) has flagged off the training of 1,480 teachers selected from rural hard to reach schools in the 36 states and FCT. Okay, so that's an interesting read. The training focuses on multi-grade and mixed ability approaches to teaching and will have 40 participating teachers enlisted per state. Okay, read more of that story. It's on page 26 of the Daily Independent. Okay, so let me quickly bring this one to you too. NUJ NAS partner demand release of Mubarak Bala. The Nigerian Union of Journalists, Oyo State Council, and the National Association of Sea Dogs, Jolly Rogers DEC, have jointly called for the release of Mubarak Bala, president of the Humanist Association, who has been detained for 4 years without trial. Okay, read more of that story. It's on page 26 of the Daily Independent. FJ resolves medical directorship crisis at orthopedic hospital in Edo. The medical directorship tussle rocking the newly established National Orthopedic Hospital in Benin City, the Edo State capital, has been resolved just as the federal government has appointed Dr. Philip Ugbodaga as a substantive medical director. Read more of that story. It's on page 26 of the Daily Independent. Okay, so it's Daily Independent has so many interesting reads. I'll advise you to grab a copy of the Daily Independent. Okay, before I go, let me quickly jump to the sports corner of the Daily Independent, which is on page 30 and page 31 of the Daily Independent. Okay, so this is saying World Cup South Africa to host Nigeria in Bloemfontein. South African Football Association has revealed that the 2026 World Cup qualifying matches on their home soil will be played at Bloemfontein. SAFA said it has concluded arrangements to return Bafana to Bloemfontein. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry if I'm murdering that name, but I'm not from there, so you only manage what I bring to you. This is saying global focus shifts to Okpekpe as next host of a gold label. Global focus has now shifted to Okpekpe in Edo State, Nigeria, as the next host of the World Athletics Gold Label road race in the world after the Turkey is Istanbul half marathon held in Istanbul, Turkey at the end of last month. Okay, you cannot make one little mistake. Guardiola on title chase. Pep Guardiola believes Arsenal's excellent form means Manchester City have to take maximum points from their final 3 games to retain the Premiership League. All right. Okay, so let me take a last story, and then Aruna serves at Saudi Smash to partner Edem in Olympic qualifier. Just like he did in the first round, Quadri Aruna continued his superb display after taking down Lee Sang-soo of South Africa 3-2 in the second round of the men's single at the World Table Tennis Saudi Smash taking place at King Abdullah Sports City in Jeddah. Okay, at this juncture, we're going to call it a day. You may pick a copy of the Daily Independent to read more stories on the news on happenings around the world today and I'm very sure that you will have a good read. Until we see you next time, do have a blessed time. God bless you. Good night.
To experience dynamic energy and professionalism. At Power 365 Radio, we pride ourselves on being your go-to source for authentic news and insight. Be it breaking news, thought-provoking discussions, we are your #1 online radio station in Southwest Nigeria. We are dedicated to delivering top-notch content that keeps you informed, entertained, and engaged. Stay connected on Power 365 Radio by following us on all our social media platforms on Facebook.